It seems that Pat Kraft has kind of painted himself into a corner, as we have seen some really impressive, unimaginable stalemate decision making by Penn State that has led them to this. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, answer the question in the comments below. Who should be the next head coach at Penn State? Because they are absolutely running out of options, because it feels like all of the people that you and I would think are qualified for this job have either signed an extension or taken a job elsewhere. I kind of find it funny that some of these jobs have gone to coaches that I don't always think fit, right? I'm not always sure that's a good thing for them. Like, I'm thinking of looking at Alex Galesh going, that would have been a really great fit at Florida, where, you know, the trajectory that they want to go on most of the time is to outscore people, play pretty good defense. Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, even Dan Mullen to a point. You know, your offense is going to be on fire and you're going to make it happen with the quarterback, probably running a little bit of basketball on grass. Instead, they go with John Summerall, who is an old school ball coach, who's going to really want the defense to play well and not the offense to not get in its way, which again, Georgia is able to do and win championships with. Alabama was able to do and win championships with. We'll see how that goes. Whereas a place like Penn State, you're really trying to contend with Michigan and Ohio State first and then everybody else. But the thought is, if you can contend with Michigan and Ohio State, you can contend with everybody else, as the last two national champions have not only come out of the Big Ten, they've been Michigan and Ohio State respectively. And Ohio State looks like the program that is going to win the national championship to me. A lot is going to get figured out this Saturday when Indiana and Ohio State play. I also would point you to Fox Sports, where I wrote about Fernando Mendoza and the relationship that he has with his mom, which is outstanding, and how everything he tries to do is emulating Tom Brady, which makes a lot of sense for a guy who many people believe could be a senator when he gets done. I'm impressed with Fernando Mendoza. I think he's a great person and an outstanding quarterback. The kind of quarterback that Curt Signetti could go get. And that is really where a lot of these moves have been made. I should say a lot of these moves have been made because Curt Signetti showed up to Indiana and flipped the worst FBS program into the second best FBS program in the country and got an argument for number one. No, they will be number one if they beat Ohio State. I'm not picking them to win, but I, didn't pick Curt Signetti to go 12-0 in 2025. They are not a fluke. They are here to stay. He's been great. And that is what Penn State fans are looking at. And I think when they hit the button to fire James Franklin, it was, we gave you everything you asked for. We got you Jim Knowles. We re-signed all of these players that we could, including Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, Drew Aller. We went and got you some wide receivers, and we got a defense that was built around Dennis Sutton, and you still couldn't beat Oregon, lost in double overtime, close game, and then fell apart against UCLA, a team that fired their coach almost as soon as the season began and beat you with an interim by basically running the football at you, something that Penn State would really take seriously and hard, and then went on a streak of not winning a football game for quite some time. And they get there at the end, and people are looking at Terry Smith going, he did a good job, maybe hire that guy. And it's like, no, Pat Kraft has been slow playing this for a long time. Matt Rule thought to be the guy for a little bit, but and then Josh Heupel for a little bit. And the number of guys that are linked to this job, Kalen DeBoer linked to this job for a little bit. It didn't make much sense. But as this is happening, it's not just that I think the guy that was most qualified to take the job, if you want a Curt Signetti turnaround, Bob Chesney, ends up at UCLA, had done it at the lower levels and had won everywhere he's gone, got to James Madison, turned them into a college football playoff contender. If they win the Sun Belt and you see not a great game out of Tulane and North Texas, maybe you're looking at that. Or if Duke wins the ACC title game, you might see James Madison in the college football playoff. They didn't go get him. They didn't go get Alex Galesh from South Florida, John Summerall from John Summerall from Tulane, Eric Morris from Oklahoma State. And then there are guys that just got to re-up on the strength of Penn State's got an open job. I might be up for it. And On3 did a really good, it had a really good take, which is they took all of these, they took all of these coaches that got extensions and lined them all up and said, here's what has happened since Penn State has not had a head coach. So Kurt Signetti signs an 8-year contract worth $11.6 million a year. Matt Rule, who kind of went down the tubes here the last month, signed a 2-year extension for $12.5 million annually. Texas A&M's Mike Elko signed a 6-year extension. It's going to pay him $11 million annually. Kalani Sitake, a guy that was linked to the job, and then Crumble said, let me throw my body back into the mix because we got money like that and we got a guy we like, which I loved, and said, no, he's staying home. They're signing him a 6-year extension, going to pay him $9 million a year. Georgia Tech's Brent Key, he just signed a 5-year extension. It's going to pay him $6.5 million a year. Vanderbilt's Clark Lee, who's got a Heisman finalist and a 10-win Vanderbilt team. My goodness. They could also make the college football playoff if Duke wins the ACC title. Signed a 6-year extension worth $6.5 million a year. Missouri's Eli Drinkwitz, 6 years, $10.25 million a year. And then Jeff Brom, who is going to be extended. We just don't know what the contract length is and what the number is going to be. So that is 39 contract years, not including Jeff Brom, $67.35 million annually, not including Jeff Brom, $370 million total, not including Jeff Brom. This while we watched Penn State put together the worst FBS recruiting class in the 2026 cycle. That, I think, is the thing that really raised eyebrows at a time when USC has the number one team or number one ranked recruiting class in the country. Watching Penn State be this far down was on nobody's radar week one. Remember, Penn State was number 2 team in the country. And I would tell anybody to listen, I don't trust that team. I don't trust a team that can't beat top 10 opponents. Why would I rank that team in the top 5? Why would I do that? And mostly, I'm ranking that team in the top 10 because if I rank them outside the top 25, that's asinine, right? That'd be ridiculous. If I rank them outside the top 15 and you look at the pieces they have, that's also not really gonna wash, because the thought is always, if James Franklin can actually put it together in a big game, they're going to win championships, because it felt like the only thing that was in their way. Meanwhile, James Franklin just raided the Penn State class that he put together and brought it to Virginia Tech. Now we're going to talk about Virginia Tech as a ranked team. And with a clean slate for James Franklin at Blacksburg, but I mean, his record against top 10 teams is going to remain. We'll see what it means. We'll see what it looks like as we get closer. But Pat Kraft is basically backed into Brian Daboll, we think, who got fired as the New York Giants head coach after another abysmal start to the season. Brian Daboll is also interesting in that he's the guy that was calling plays in the 2018 national championship game when they said, we're going to sit Jalen Hurts and we're going to bring Tua in because he can throw the ball down the field. And so he throws the ball down the field. Devontae Smith catch it, win. He takes the offensive coordinator job at Buffalo, where he basically put Josh Allen on the Jalen Hurts plan. Son, you can run. Why the hell aren't we doing more of that? And in the run-in, developed him into a passer. And in developing him into a passer, Brian Daboll got the head coach job in New York, which is a tough job and usually not fit for the offensive-minded guy. Usually it takes a defensive-minded guy to make that thing go. Tom Coughlin comes to mind, among others, Bill Parcells. And then he traded up to go get Jackson Dart, who is a guy they couldn't protect, and frankly, a guy that needs some time to become who he's going to become. Even as you got Cam Scatterboom, Malik Neighbors, and whatnot, it just felt bad at New York. So he gets fired, and now it looks like he's going to get the Bill O'Brien push after having been an offensive coordinator and play caller in the NFL. And maybe that's the way you want to go, knowing that Nick Saban thinks that Brian Daboll is a good coach and you can hire him as an OC, but Saban guys getting jobs is nothing new. Is this what you really want to be doing if you're Penn State? I don't think so, man. Like, I saw Pat Fitzgerald get hired at Michigan State, and I'm going, that's also a good culture fit for Penn State. Runs the football, plays defense. That's what y'all want. Y'all don't really go for the 4,000-yard passer. Y'all like the 2,000-yard rusher, and y'all don't like people to score. And I kept doing that all up and down the board. Will Steins at Kentucky when he could have been at Penn State, like that also was mind-boggling to me. Brian Hartline at South Florida, he could have been at Penn State. It just felt like a miss. And these aren't the kind of misses that you get to have for too often. So the next one you hire has got to hit. And if it's Brian Daboll, good luck to you, dog. I want it to work because I like it when Penn State's good. But now you have to be good.